Pregame.com.
Will Jim Harbaugh take one in the loss column? Right out of the blocks in 2015, September 3rd, it's Michigan at Utah. Hey everybody, Scott Spreitzer, Steve Fezzik, you're watching Pregame.tv.
And thanks to Tony Miller and his crack squad, we can bet on this game. Michigan is catching 4 points at the open. Now it's +5 at Utah opening weekend.
165 games, I guess, they put out at the Golden Nugget this past Friday. And I'll tell you what, right now, that I'm on this one right out of the blocks. We talked about it on our Friday radio show, first preview at pregame.com, about laying the 4 spot with the Utah Utes over the Michigan Wolverines. And one of the problems that I think Michigan is going to find in the early going is that it's going to take time for Harbaugh to get his squad to do exactly what he wants them to do, to find that team chemistry from a new coaching staff to some new players having to mix in and the new personalities. Harbaugh, man, he's tough, man. He's type A driven. There's no doubt about it. So I think there's a little bit of overvalue right now on Jim Harbaugh as compared to what it should be. Tony Miller at the Golden Nugget, he told us they gave another 5 to 6 points to Michigan's line value with Harbaugh over the Brady Hoke staff.
Yeah, and I heard positive things about Brady Hoke before he started at Michigan and how he was going to fix everything. But the bottom line is we forget that these are human beings. And here Harbaugh's coaching the 49ers at the end of the year. He's got to take his family. They got to relocate to Michigan, buy a house, get everyone in school, do all of this while all of his competitors are out there getting ready for opening weekend. He's got years to get this fixed at Michigan. I think it is a leap of faith to think he can do it right out of the blocks.
Well, and that's the thing. He's going to have a little bit of a honeymoon. There's no doubt about it, more than most people would because of the way this team is finished. I think they've had one top 20 finish in the last 7 years, Steve. And what you're going to see from this team, I think, is going to be probably an 8-4 season. I think they'll be better at the end of the year than they will at the beginning. Of course, we're catching this game right out of the blocks, opening night in college football on a Thursday in early September. The thing about Utah is they've gotten to the point now where they've been away from the Mountain West and that level of play long enough, entering their 5th season in the Pac-12, where Kyle Whittingham and his coaching staff is starting to recruit Pac-12 caliber players. And he's got a lot of guys coming back from last year, and they dominated this team in Ann Arbor. Bottom line is, to me, Steve, is that right now Harbaugh doesn't have the kind of quarterback he needs to run his system. It's going to take a while before they're on the same page.
Yeah, and I think, like, you hear about revenge, but how big a deal is revenge when you got a whole new coaching staff for Michigan? And it wasn't like Michigan lost in the Big House by a couple points. They got their butts kicked 26-10 last year, and now you really have to ask yourself, what has changed that we can flip the venues? We got a team that won by 16 on the road, and now they're at home with a higher home field advantage because of the altitude.
Yeah, he'll have them focused. There's no doubt about that. What he'll do is he'll say, look at game tape from last year. They kicked our butts in the Big House. We got to go back and return the favor. He just doesn't have the goods to get it done early in the season, as far as I'm concerned, in this particular matchup. I'm taking Utah, laying the points. It's up to 5. Utah -5. Don't forget more videos right here from Steve and I, pregame.tv.